Hey, what's up, guys? We're the Spoiler Kings. I'm Brian the Grizzly here with Tank Kramer. What's up?
What's up?
Hey, guys, we're here to talk about Silo. Been on this From train with the Fromly, and they said you have to watch Silo. So I went to Apple TV Plus, and I was watching it, and I immediately called Tank. I was like, doo, 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 doo. Hey, we got to watch this. And
Yeah,
got 5 days later, we finished the entire season. So we're going to talk to you guys about that.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Legit, you're like, this first episode was crazy. I was like, all right. So, yeah, by the time I watched that first episode, I'm like, you're not wrong. It's amazing. You're like, oh, wait till you get to episode 6. Like, you're like ahead of me. So, yeah, yeah,
but it's
it
so funny
is.
because even when we thought we had at the beginning, wasn't what the show's about at all.
No, no.
And every episode has been growing and growing and just giving us more and more information. I guess let's knock through these first couple of episodes and talk about
Mhm.
those and go from there.
Yep.
So, what you
Go
got?
ahead, you start.
Episode 1, Freedom Day. So I think here, Freedom Day gave us, the Sheriff Becker, talked about Holston Becker. We thought that he was our main character. He's the main guy. He's helped running the silo. He's keeping all the peace. And we get introduced to his wife, Allison. Rashida Jones. I'm so in love with her. So I'm like, dude, we got this guy and Rashida Jones, and I'm loving her. And I see Tim Robbins for a second, and I'm like, what? He's the 6'7" greatest actor of all time. And I see a little glimpse of Common, and I'm like, I'm down.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought of that first episode. But how was this introduction to you for this episode, this series?
I mean, the first episode was just, I mean, that's how you bring a person into a show. You right off the bat start with actors that you kind of like. Like, who doesn't love Rashida Jones? But then you get into a story of what's real, what's the truth,
Mm-hmm.
who's hiding the truth, why are they hiding the truth? So you start getting these questions, and you start getting like what's really going on, and it just hooks you. And then by the end of the first episode, you're asking the question, what's real?
Yeah.
What's real? What's the truth? Like, what's going on? And it hooks you immediately with those questions. So,
So that
yeah.
first episode, I mean, I was on the side of Rashida Jones following her. I was mad at her husband. I was like, how dare you not believe her? Do you not look at her to her eyes and just know she's telling the truth? So maybe that might be a little biased, but regardless, I just thought it went well together. The mayor
Mhm.
seemed, legit. I thought she was, amazing. Mayor Johns, Ruth Johns. I thought that everything seemed like it was on the up and up. I knew that Tim Robbins was a douchebag off the get
Right
go.
off the bat.
So like, just know what's going on. But it kind of introduced us to all these characters immediately, and I immediately
Mhm.
I like these guys. All right, I like what's going on. And
Yeah.
then episode 2 puts it on our head. Like everything we thought we knew changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because episode 2 is what, a 2-year flash forward,
Yeah.
from episode 1, which is crazy. Just the second episode, you're already skipping 2 years. But it makes sense because it allows Holston, which is the Allison's husband, the sheriff. Like, you realize, like, he's been pondering about it. He can see his, literally every time he walks past a window, he sees his dead wife, like right there. She's right there, and that sucks, man. Like, that's insane. So you get so much understanding of what he's going through, and then he starts that the same question. Like, now he becomes the viewer. All the questions we had: what's real, what's fake, who's telling the truth, what, stuff like that. Like, do I believe my wife, or do I believe the system that I'm a part of, that helped me become the person I am? And you see, he starts to believe his wife a little bit more.
It
But
seemed
then
like no. It took 2 years. Why they got
took
to
him to
that point in
it
two
did.
years? He was like, "F that. I'm going out with my wife."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it kind of took a little bit of work, because then episode 2, I believe, is where you
Meet
first
Juliet.
meet Julie, which is the main character of the story. She's legit the main character. And you get her, and then you find out they have a connection because their significant others kind of work together, in a way. So you know, so and I appreciate that it wasn't like, oh, she was out cheating. It was like it was more of like trying to find the truth.
Mhm.
So she would lie to her husband to go leave, but it's not to go see another man. It's to go see what's on this hard drive, see the truth, like what's like, and it kind of became an obsession for her, so
Well, I mean, I
yeah.
think we're missing the big thing that kind of put this stuff in motion. The idea is so everyone has a birth control put inside of them.
Mm,
And if you win the lottery, you're allowed to have kids. So
pretty
most of the
much.
first episode is them having 365 days to try to have a kid. So, and we go through
I
all
mean, this is
365.
their third attempt.
Yes,
This is
the
the
third
third
time.
time that
I
that
think she's
they've
turning
had.
38. So, she's
Yeah.
thinking like this is my last chance to be able to do this. And of course, they go through all 365 days and doesn't happen. But she starts to question why. And someone mentions to her, hey, you're not going to have a baby because you're not the type of person they want having kids.
Mhm.
And that sparks something in her. And then she starts to fall down that rabbit hole. And that's what pushed her outside the silo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, hey, that crazy person is saying stuff, but what if it's not so
Crazy.
crazy? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then she starts to go down that rabbit hole, and yeah, yeah, you get a lot of interesting stuff, going on in the first couple episodes, for sure with Allison and with Holston, but by the end of that second episode, Holston goes out and meets his wife,
Yeah.
and when he gets out of the silo and he says, he goes, "Ah, you're right, Allison." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Ah, damn," and
And we see all this color and all the birds tweeting and all this
yeah,
stuff. And you're like, wow, this is nuts.
yeah, yeah,
But once again, but you start questioning what you're seeing
it's
because
real.
he kind of keys over and he dies in the same spot that Allison did.
Hmm.
And I wasn't sure that they're dead or that we're seeing the wrong thing or what was going on
Yeah,
at the time. I was questioning, did they sent poison inside them? And I
in the
still
suit.
think that, yeah, that they're poisoning them as they walked out so they can
Yeah,
see them die.
yeah.
That's
That
how they
that
know they're going to take 10 steps. It was like Kill Bill. You got 5 steps before your heart explodes. Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. So I mean, and that's the thing too, is like, so Allison walks out. Oh, before she walks out, she tells Holston, um, if I clean the camera, because that's the whole point of why people like are leaving the silo. It's either a punishment or they ask to leave.
mhm,
Um, but when they're asked to leave, or when they leave, they're said clean the camera, because the only window to the outside world is like one single camera that overlooks a small hill, and then you can't see anything past that. You just see a dead tree, a bunch of dead bodies from the other people, and then a hill, and then nothing else in the distance. Um, so she had told Holston, if I clean the camera, then I'm letting you know that's the signal that we're being lied to, that it's gorgeous outside.
mm,
If I don't, I'll just wave because I know I messed up,
yeah,
and so she obviously cleans the camera, and then that puts the bug in his head for 2 years. You're sitting there like, damn, she cleaned the camera. She cleaned the camera. She's told me
yep.
mm,
And he's going through
that's a
this
rough
major
life.
depression and all this stuff. So that kind of fast forwards into why he made his decision to walk
Yeah.
out there, meet his wife, and he collapses. So we would revisit that, but that's what happened. They look like they died. They died right there on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in his haste of doing all this stuff, with all this stuff going on, we don't hear that he actually had made a choice for sheriff.
Yeah.
So
To replace him.
to replace him. So both sheriffs, as they go off or to retire, they say someone that they want to replace them as sheriff for the silo, and
Mhm.
he doesn't have anything except his deputy, Marnes, Deputy Marnes, played by Will Patton, does get a letter from him and a request that Holston requested some person named Juliet Nichols to replace him as sheriff,
Yeah.
and no one knows who the hell she is.
Yeah. No one knows. And then that after this, once you get introduced to Juliet, that's when you're introduced to the, like, I think the silo, more of the silo, because it's
Mm.
not just a bunch of people living in there. There's a bunch of people called in the deep down that work all the way at the bottom of the silo, or almost at the bottom of the silo. And they run the generator, and the generator is what powers everything.
Yep.
So they're basically like the like in the I'm trying to think of like the motor boat people, that keep the engine running
I
all the
keep
whole
it going.
time. Keep
But
it going. They're down getting dirty while the people upstairs get to have the time of their life. So
at this point, when I'm watching it and I'm seeing this, I'm thinking I'm getting Snowpiercer vibes.
Snowpiercer.
You know,
Yeah.
when the
Yes.
tailies that they're doing all the stuff, they're the ones that get the crap, everything else, but they're the ones getting stuff done, and that's what I thought was happening. But it seems like they're still getting the same type of foods. You just live at the bottom,
Yeah.
less space, less light, stuff like that.
Less light. The camera relay is more like dingy looking because
Mhm.
it's the wiring or whatever is further down, so they don't get as a clear of a picture of the outside world that upstairs gets. There's a lot of stuff. And then, well, one thing we forgot to mention is there's no elevators,
Yep,
right?
must
So the
walk.
only way is you walk down this like spiral staircase that's in the middle of the silo. And then also the silo is massive. It's not like, oh, it's 10 stories. I think it's like over 100.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
but
remember them saying it, but it's a
it
lot.
takes hours to walk the silo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what Holston, said who he wants to replace, and the mayor, wants to go figure out who she is. So she decides, and she's from the bottom, so she decides to walk the silo to find out who she actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So she decides to take Deputy Barnes with her, and the mayor goes all the way down till she meets or finds out where Juliet is. And when she sees her, it's pretty interesting because she is trying to fix the generator, or fix what's going on with the silo.
Mm-hmm.
And no one up top really knows anything's wrong. But she's
Yeah.
been putting the generator back together, retrofitting it, fixing it, because it can't stop, because if it stops, you lose all power.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been doing that, and when she sees her, she is jumping in, running in there where things that are on fire,
Yeah.
to try to keep it together. So she's a special type of person, and I think that really, intrigues Mayor Johns.
Yeah. Yeah. And she sees also like she's very selfless in the fact of she's ready to run in a place, that's can explode and can kill her, and she does it, to save the silo, to save everyone else, people that she never sees, that's all the way upstairs, you know, and to the point where she would get mad. She punched out somebody because
Don't
they
touch
were
nobody.
about to go in, and she like she literally punched somebody out so she can run in and do it, because I think she understands like it has to be me, because like she has this sense of duty almost, but it's also,
I
we
thought it was
find out
arrogance.
later
I
a
thought it
little
was
bit of
arrogance.
arrogance,
Like,
you know.
I'm the one. I'm the one that could do this. Only me. And I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty arrogant of her, and I wasn't sure I was gonna like her. Boy, was
Yeah,
I
but
wrong.
also I saw it as almost like a death wish. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm gonna keep doing this, and eventually it's gonna mess up. You know, and if I die, then I die. I don't want you to die. But it was also very, very arrogant. I'm not gonna say that's not true. She was very cocky.
Mhm.
In a lot of sense. Throughout the whole season, she's very cocky.
Oh, she
But
does some stupid stuff.
she does
So
some stupid stuff
a
for
lot of
sure.
stupid stuff.
But she is a very smart person. She figured a lot of things out, and she was good at putting stuff together.
She's an engineer. That's what they
Yeah,
do. Engineers put
yeah,
things together.
yep. But then later on we find out about her dad at first. Well, we find out about her dad right in that episode, because as on their way down, they stop to where her dad is working.
Mhm.
Her mother's dead. The dad is the doctor. He's the
The
birth
same
doctor.
doctor. Yep. That
Yeah,
the chief, the sheriff Holston went to with his wife Allison to have their birth control removed. So like he knows what's going on, and he was like, oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I allowed her to stay down there because this is what she always wanted to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
that type of
So
thing.
yeah, so she comes from educated, at least an educated father, so and she comes from upstairs,
Yeah.
so if you think of like ghetto poor versus like rich, you know, stuff, so obviously she's gonna have like a better education and stuff like that, just by where she's from and who her family is. So yeah. So
Yeah. So I mean, kind of get through all this. So
mhm.
Mayor John sees her, likes her, offers her the job. She says, "No, I'm good." So Mayor John says, "All right." Turns around, starts to walk away, but gives her back Holston's badge,
But
and etched into that badge says "Truth," and
mhm.
that spoke to her. And she sees it, and she runs off and says, "I accept the job." And she leaves at the bottom, going back up top to become the sheriff. But for
Yeah.
what motive? We kind of know that she owns because way she met the old sheriff Holston was from her boyfriend, but non. It wasn't okay. Not they didn't ask for it, for her boyfriend, but it wasn't really a boyfriend because it's
Uh,
not a non-sanctioned uh
oh yeah.
relationship. But
Yeah.
whatever, he dies, and she's sure it's a murder. And she asks him. He comes to investigate, and that's when he really meets her and gets to know who she is. And they make a pact like, hey, if I figure out what's going on, I'm going to send you a message. That etched truth on the badge was the message for her, and so
Mhm.
that's what makes her go up because she's really just trying to find out who killed George. That's all
Yeah.
she's doing. Who
Yeah.
killed George?
Yeah. But this is where I feel like the show like starts. You know what I mean? Because right now we're given a lot of questions. We're given a lot of little hints of what's real and what's not real. Who can we trust? Who can we not trust? Little things. But once she becomes sheriff, then the stuff hits the fan. It starts going to a whole nother level of such like interest. Like I was so glued to my screen after she becomes sheriff, and wild stuff is about to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it kind of gets us into episode 3, where she's walking up, and Mayor Johns is walking up there with Deputy Barnes. They're walking back up 3, 4, 5 hours, taking
Mhm.
forever. Of course, they stop for water break, whatever, drinking water. She's drinking his, he drinks hers, whatever. Um, till they're all the way about up top, and everyone seems to know already that Mayor Johns offered this nobody, Juliet Nichols, the job as sheriff, which is one of the most prestigious jobs in all of the silo, including the head of IT, Bernard Holland, and was it Robert Sims, who's played by Common, who's head of head of the security for judicial, who
Yeah.
really are the people that are kind of being the face of running the silo.
Yeah. They're the real cops. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they're the real kind of police. Forgot what are they called? They have a name. Um, oh man.
I just know that
Yeah.
they're the judicial security. Uh,
Yeah.
they run all that stuff. So, but get all the way up there. She's gonna start her first job. They give her, her secretary doesn't like her. They give her a uniform saying, "Hey, be here on time." Um, but before really in this 3, so as they're gonna walk up, she stays down there for a little bit longer because the deal that she made with the mayor was, I will become your sheriff as long as you let me turn down this generator for a
Oh
few
yeah.
hours. Why? Because they need to fix it. And she
Mhm.
tells her people, and they're like, we can't freaking fix this thing, right? Because if we do turn it off, it basically could blow up.
Yeah.
You
Like
have
you
to turn it
only
off.
get like 30 minutes max to fix the problem before you
And she told him it takes 12 hours to fix.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they redo all of it. It's a huge cluster, whatever, but they get it done, and they fix the generator, and she walks up there to be the mayor. So as
Mhm.
you said, she's getting fitted for all her stuff, going through, meeting some other people, finding out that no one else wanted her to be sheriff. Matter of fact, Sims already had someone that was perfect for the job, Paul Billings. They said he's been prepped for it. He's been running judicial for a long time. He understands the pact inside out, which is the rule book, the law for the land. And yeah, doesn't matter. She's there. She's going to be the new sheriff, and her deputy Barnes is going to stay around for a little bit. And he doesn't know if she doesn't really trust him. He doesn't really like her, but some things happen that kind of pulls them together. You tell them what that happened.
Oh yeah. So once the mayor and Marnes get back up top, you find out they kind of like love each other,
Yeah.
so they were gonna both retire and live their happy life together. So as they're like cracking a bottle, she goes to the bathroom, hears a thud, and she dies. The mayor freaking dies,
Yeah.
And that's how the episode ends with the mayor dying. And then the next episode starts off with Marnes trying to figure out who did it,
Yeah.
So and then that's where, like you said, Juliet and Marnes kind of work together, because they're trying to figure things out, so they find out they're kind of on the same team.
And
But
Juliet makes the promise to Marnes.
Yeah,
she says,
that's when she makes the promise.
You figure out with me, who killed my George. I'll figure out who killed the mayor, and I'll get out of here. Get out of here. You could let Billings come be sheriff. You could go walk off into the sunset if they knew what the sunset was.
Yeah,
and I'll be out your hair. So
yeah,
they understand that, and now they start working the case.
Yeah, but that's super short-lived because as soon as he decides he's going to help Juliet out, he gets a visit, and things don't go the way he plans for them to go, and he winds up getting killed too. So now we have another death.
So there's now
another
3 deaths.
Yeah. Well, yeah, three deaths,
in like a 4-day period, 2-day period.
I mean, if you count the old sheriff, because he went out the silo, but that was more like he asked for it kind of thing.
But so Becker dies.
But
then we had 4 because we forgot about George. Becker, but George is gone a long time ago. So Becker died.
Is gone. Yeah.
But Becker died right then. The Mayor Johns died, and now we lost Deputy Marnes. Yeah. Which these are all characters. These are well thought out actors, actresses. Yeah. We're like, really? These are the ones that are going? I thought, this was somehow they're going to come back, and nope, they never did, and we didn't need them.
No. Yeah. So we get a bunch of things happening, and where you're like, oh, so right before the deputy sheriff Marnes gets shot, the guy who's killed him like steps out of the shadow, so you see his face real quick. And I don't know about you, but the whole time I'm like, who the hell is that? And I'm trying to remember. I'm like, faces. I'm like, wait, that's not him. But like, if I would have just waited 5 more minutes,
yeah,
you have found out, like, it cuts back to Billings is working with Sims, who's, like you said, the head of the judicial police security kind of thing. And then you see Trumbull, the guy who killed the Marnes, there with him. So it was like, there's the dude. That's the dude that's talking to Sims, and then here comes, Billings, who's the new, sheriff to be, walks in, and then you're just like, oh, what is going on? And you start really you start getting so invested into it, because you're just like, what's Sims' deal? Because now Common is starting to play a bigger role in the show, rather than just being a background character, and you start getting so much stuff in that episode. I believe it's Truth, and the Truth episode is where you start as a viewer to get some of the truth. You're still not getting a lot of it, but you are starting to realize, there's multiple levels of who's really in charge of this place. You know what I mean? Because as the viewer now, you're like, oh, Sims and the judicial branch, kind of do whatever.
Whatever with Iron Fist, and maybe the mayor's a figurehead. Speaking of the mayor, we have a new mayor now because the old Mayor Johns is dead. So Bernard Holland, the leader of IT, is now the new mayor for the silo.
Temporary,
yeah, until the next election.
Yeah, he said he's just holding until the next election. Yeah. And then even I thought that was really interesting. Sims, Juliet, and Bernard, all meet up together and like how we're gonna deal with the mayor and a deputy dying like the same within the same day, within like hours of each other. So they wind up coming up with a story that they loved each other. It was too on point for me too. I was like, you're coming up with a story that's exactly the truth, but the thing is, like, Bernard and these guys don't know that they're in love. They don't know that they were both going to retire and live their happy life,
Or
together.
did they?
Yeah. So you're just like, I'm like, maybe because they're trying to like conserve resources and do two burials at once, kind of thing, share a plot, you know. So yeah, that's when I started kind of asking some questions on like, what do you know, because that seemed too close to the truth just to make up a story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, but I thought that was interesting. It seems like all the deaths are buried in the farm. They bury them down, not in a coffin, but in like cloth, they look like, and they do a natural burial. And they even said like it's like an
Become
endless
part of the
circle.
land now,
You
and
become
this
part of the
is
land. Yeah.
help
Even that,
provide for everybody else.
yeah, which I loved was, you usually, throw dirt in the plot, or you throw a rose. They all take a bite of an apple. They all have their own apple. It's not the same apple, but they take a bite of it and then they throw it in there. So like it zooms out, and this show has great cinematography at times. It zooms out and you see the two, wrapped, bodies, and then just a bunch of apples around them, and then in the farmland, and it's all like it looked really interesting for me. It was just like bodies just decompose and become part of like the fertilizer, I guess, of it all, and help grow the new plants. But yeah, it was just cool to see.
So then we get to basically we're at episode 5. I mean, there's things that are going on, but we're at episode 5 called
Yep.
The Janitor's Boy, and it's really about Sims. Sims already took buildings and made him chief deputy because now it was open. And now they try to figure out these two murders that led to this and even the showdown. But we find out more about Sims and who he is. Talk about his father and who his father was in the silo. And yeah, it was pretty deep. It was like a secret society almost. I'm hearing it. I'm thinking like, oh man, you Illuminati. This is what this is. This is an Illuminati type of thing, the all-seeing eye. And he was part of it, and he was always wearing these black dark colors and turtlenecks and stuff like that. So you feel a certain type of way about him.
Well, then that's when we get the great story. Common tells the story of his dad, who's a janitor, to Trumbull. The guy who's his shadow. Everyone's a shadow of somebody else. You know what I mean? Which is, I thought, really interesting. Yeah, it's basically an apprenticeship. Like, oh, you're gonna replace me one day. But even that person who you're gonna replace, he's a shadow for somebody else. So it's just a constant chain of like you're the next person up kind of thing.
You're also training your replacement.
Yeah, you're training your replacement the whole time. Yeah.
If you don't do right, we can kill you off and get your replacement there because you trained them.
Yeah, just steps right in there. So Trumbull is like messing up. He's not doing a good job of doing the hidden, evil kind of stuff. And Sims gives him a great story about his dad, blah blah blah. And I knew when it was up, he goes, "Oh, are you willing to do anything for the silo? Are you willing to blah 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 for the silo?"
He said, "You're going to be my shadow." Now I'm going to let you do all these things, and he asked all those questions, and then he did what he did.
Yeah, he just legit pushed him over the edge and killed him.
Yep.
Killed him because he was messing up too much, and I think he was starting to find out things he wasn't supposed to find out yet because of what's going on with Juliet and him messing up.
Is that the number one thing? Like, so Juliet figured out what's going on. She's chasing him, and he has a chance to kill her. And like later, she's holding onto the banister, for the stairs in the silo. Like she should be dead because she'll fall 100 stories to her death. She drops her knife, and you can see how long of a fall that would have been. Somehow she doesn't die. The people come and save her, pull her up, and now she's kind of becoming this folk hero. People are starting to talk about her now,
Hmm.
and Trumbull messed up, so that's why he's in this predicament with Sims, and Sims closes that storyline because he effed up. So
Yeah,
he closed that one, open up a new one, and that's kind of when we realize how much about his business Sims really is.
yeah, yeah. How deep and dark there's parts of this silo,
Mm.
that we're getting into, like the real the nitty gritty of it all. You know what I mean? Like what's really going on. So, but yeah, the janitor's boy was mostly, from I remember, a big common um episode, kind of
Yeah,
focused on his his role. We don't know fully yet, but we know he's into to some secret society kind of stuff.
yeah. We know that he has a door that he goes into, and that door tells him a lot of answers. We just don't know
Yeah.
what that door really is. But
Yeah. Well, it says
look,
janitor's office on it or something like that, or janitorial. That's what it says. So, yeah, yeah. That's, I guess you maintenance too. You never trust maintenance.
exactly maintenance.
Maintenance. Yeah.
So
And
that
then
kind of gives us
yeah.
that episode. Then we could get into Relic, which is episode 6. Um,
Mhm.
it's kind of during an investigation, Juliet uncovers disturbing secrets about someone she thought she knew. And who is that someone? George.
Yeah.
She starts investigating all the stuff was going on, finds out that George actually had someone else already.
Yeah. Previous girlfriend.
Yeah. That he lived
Yeah.
with and was, totally compatible and did all the paperwork and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That he was, destined to be with. And that didn't go out so well. And find out that, she thinks that now George might have been using her the entire time. She's questioning her motives, but somehow something is still kind of pulling at her to figure out his murder. And she doesn't really know why. But maybe it's because she was hurt and she was in love. And that's just basically what's going on. And we get a lot of finding about what's going on with Juliet and George's relationship. And we find out that George actually and Juliet had this place underneath the city, underneath the silo,
Yeah.
that they were able to hide out, find relics. There's water underneath there. There's a lot of there's he talks about a door underneath there, and they had their relationship in the open underneath the silo.
Yeah. Yeah, we learned that, and I forgot. Did we learn it in this episode
In
or
this
early
episode,
episode? But yeah, well, no, I think it was an early episode because Juliet takes the old Sheriff Holston down there, and it's basically the drill that drills out the silo hole,
mm,
and then they couldn't figure out a way to pull it out, so they just threw like 60 feet of concrete or something like that, whatever she said,
I think we've
to
been down
hide
there,
it.
but I didn't know we knew that the relationship was going on with George and how
Yeah,
deep it
yeah,
really went. And I think that's what we really found out about that and started talking about the relics and what a
yeah.
relic was. And
Yeah,
we started realizing it's something as small as a Pez dispenser we called a relic or a camera lens because you're not allowed to have magnification
yeah,
or
yeah,
we don't have a book because all the rebels got rid of all those things and burned those things and lost their
yeah.
history. So
Yeah, I feel we should have said that. There,
yeah,
there's a fight, so there's no history older than 150 years, I think.
140 years about, yeah, that's
100,
about right.
something like that.
Mm.
So nothing's older than that. So anything before that time, they have no idea. So they have no idea who built the silo, why they built the silo, what's going on outside. There's none of that. So these relics are things of before,
Before.
before,
Mhm.
and like you said, it could be as simple as a Pez dispenser. Which I love. She uses something so small to help her plan, like she plants it somewhere and kind of tries to deceive people and to get some more information and get what she kind of wants and needs out of everybody. So I just feel bad because she kind of throws Billings under the bus, you
Yep.
know,
Yep.
you know,
And
but
she does that a
he's
lot, but
still in the
because
weird.
she doesn't know, can she
Can she
trust him?
trust him? Yeah.
And we don't know if she could trust him either. And it turns out she actually could. Who knew?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. But the relics, yeah, we get everything. Yeah,
It was an interesting episode. It was a good one, but it was a calm before the storm because I believe 7, 8, 9, 10 were off the chain. All four of those. I mean, starting with 7, the Flame Keepers. Wow, what did you
yeah,
think about that episode?
yeah. That was a great episode because I believe that's the one where she finds out about her mom, right? We
Yep.
start getting flashbacks of Juliet's past, and I believe one of their Juliet had a brother, that wind up dying at a young age, and the mom felt like she could have saved him, so she kind of goes down her own rabbit hole, and she winds up
Well,
making a microscope. I
I
believe.
don't
I
know.
believe that was in that episode, wasn't it?
This is not the episode because 7 is still when she's talking about her father. So she's kind of
Okay.
trying to figure out. She found this lady who we know was a fertility specialist, and she wants to get in to talk to her, but no one's going to let her. Judicial's not going to let her. They're keeping her
Mhm.
under wraps, under sedation, and so Julia has to figure out a way to actually speak to her. The
Yeah.
way to do that, she says, "I'm going to finally visit her father." Once again, we
Yeah.
known Dr. Pete Nichols was always there. She goes to him, and he's like, "There's nothing I could do." And she's like, "I should have known I can't trust you." That's really tears at his heart because you
Yeah.
know there's something going on with him. So when she says that, it kind of hurts him, and he's like, "Okay, I will do whatever I got to do." He gets her in there to kind of talk to her, and he kind of redeems himself in her eyes a little bit, for getting her to get that favor through. And she gets to she starts to try to talk to her because her dad is weaning her off all the medicines that she's been taking. And while doing that,
Mhm.
Juliet's been running through circles because they're starting to search for her.
Yeah. 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 It
And this,
it
and we
winds
didn't
up
talk about because she got
no,
a relic in number 6 from George's
George,
ex-wife, whatever it was. Or girlfriend. I'm
ex-girlfriend.
not sure if it was
Yeah.
wife or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got a relic
I mean,
from
yeah.
her that used to belong to George, which used to belong to George's mother. At least that's what we think. So
Yeah, I believe it was
we don't
I
know.
forgot
We don't
how
know what happened
yeah.
yet. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was George's mother got it, right?
yep.
Yeah. That's what it
From
was.
somebody, but we don't know who that
Yeah.
is yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So in Flame Keepers, does she get that from his ex-girlfriend? I don't remember when she gets it from him.
I believe she got it right before then. In
Yeah.
relic. That's the relic that she got.
That's the relic. Which we didn't say what the relic was yet, right? Because the whole point is like she needs to talk to Gloria, like you said, so she needs her dad's help. Because I think she wants to show Gloria what the relic means and what is it.
Mhm.
So pretty much the relic is it's really it's silly to us, but for them, it's just a magazine about Georgia, the state of Georgia. It was like the Amazing World of Georgia or whatever it was, and it was just like a brochure. It's a giant brochure. It had like pictures in it, that dolphins, a beach. It was a big one.
Idea.
You
So
know,
being outside, seeing grass,
yeah,
seeing water,
yeah,
this grand water that was all over the place,
yeah,
seeing other animals, knowing what
yeah.
they are, you
You
know,
know,
it's
people would cry. They cried. Like when people. So I don't say who else sees it, but they just like they freak out. And she's told, she goes, don't say anything in this book out loud because they'll hear you. So
yep.
yeah, just like stuff like that. I was like, ooh, what's it? What is it? And she pulls out this like brochure for for the state of Georgia, and she sees she sees like people white water rafting,
Yep.
which is like interesting. So
But living
yeah,
their life outside and what this world used to be, and what you used to have access to, you didn't have to live in a silo, didn't know how beautiful outside was. There's no something's wrong outside.
yeah, yeah. So she knows that Gloria, the crazy old midwife, knows something. So that's why she gets her dad. Her dad finally is able to pull her out, and they start to talk to her, and they show her the magazine, and she's seen it before, and then you start to connect the dots with other things, with how George kind of had it, Is this the episode where you find out about
No,
more
not
about
the next
not
episode.
the next episode? Okay.
Yeah.
So she starts asking questions, and she
And
tells her,
Gloria
you
wakes
know,
up basically
yeah,
and starts to tell her about what's going on. Tells
yeah,
her, "Hey,
the past.
yep,
Yeah.
this is what happened in this past. This is what the pact is. This is what the problems we've had with it. This is why they don't only allow some people
To breed.
to mate and
Yeah.
breed, and they're trying to keep out the flame keepers. They're trying to breed them out. No longer
Which are the
allow them to
yeah.
reproduce,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what this whole thing's about. She also finds out her mother
Mm-hmm.
knew them. She wasn't a flame keeper, but she was a sympathist.
Yeah. Yeah. She understood and worked with them, I guess, in some aspects, because she was doing bad things, considered by the silo, but yeah. But I just loved it, like how now you start to find out like these rebels, are still people in the silo. They
Mhm.
have a name. They have a name for their group, the Flame Keepers, and they are systematically being targeted, and removed,
Sterilized and
sterile, and
getting
removed.
them out, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, but Gloria's story was a good sad story, a super sad story. She tells it, and everything with her ex-husband and stuff. So
ex-husband. Yeah,
yeah, it really sucks.
realizing she's not gonna be able to have kids, and she let her ex-husband go, and he had kids, and he passed her by and pretended like he never even knew her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I believe after that, Sims
Yeah, and he's
goes
chasing her
visit.
now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's kind of already on the run because they already know like she's got some stuff. So Sims and his group of people are going after Juliet. But I think they find out it right at the end of this episode, oh, Sims knows that he wants to go see Gloria.
Yep.
Right. Because then he goes and sees Gloria. And then you get a nice human moment with him and Gloria.
Kinda. He's still
Kinda, a
doing
little
his
bit.
job
Yeah.
because talks to her and says, without you, I wouldn't have had kids because
Mhm.
obviously makes you think about this, right? So
Mhm.
Sims is connected somehow because they didn't want him to reproduce because the way he thinks.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to have kids. She found a way with the folic acid, how to get him kids, and he's always been grateful for that. So he's going to treat her with respect. He tells
Yeah.
her, either you going to give me the information I need, and I'm going to let you go back to sleep, and you have all your dreams of outside and all the gander of being outside, or I'm going to make you sit in this room forever and never get out.
Yeah.
And that's all. I'm not going to kill you because obviously I appreciate you so much, but that's where we start right here.
Yeah, he's gonna let you go crazy, which
Yeah.
is wild. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't remember if that was this episode or the next episode, but when Sims joins in, but because like for me, I watched them all like together, so it's like one giant like
So
movie for
Sims
me.
comes in
But yeah,
at the beginning at 8.
the beginning of 8. Okay, yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah. So
so,
yeah, but I just love that like he came in and he talked to her, and then you find out about him, and I was like, oh, so he's got family, he's got a kid,
a wife and a kid.
a wife and a kid, and now you start to see a different side of him. Not
Which
a
you
lot, but
saw a
you get little hints of
glimpse
it. Yeah,
before because when the lights went out, he sat there with his son and said, I'm gonna
yeah,
be here until you fall asleep. I
yeah.
have you, And that was a very touching father-son moment. And
Mhm.
knowing that he has that in him makes you kind of have a soft spot for Sims, but he's usually erases that with all the stuff he actually does because he's a badass mother. Shut your
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
But in 8, we also get the things that kind of Juliet gets to see her family's past differently. She kind of gets a file. She learns more about what's going on in the past, along with the stuff that Gloria told her about her mother. We revisit that mother,
mhm.
and so she understands what's going on with Hannah. Hannah, which is her mom.
Our mom, yeah,
Yeah, her mom.
yeah. And this whole episode is like the flashbacks with her mom, right?
Mhm.
And why she killed herself,
Yep.
so or supposedly killed herself. Because now you're like,
Supposedly.
what? Because now you just start questioning everything at
Everything.
this moment.
Yeah.
Everything at this moment, because I believe she finds she makes a trade with somebody and gets like a sick bunny. They wind up doing like heart surgery on the bunny.
Yep.
And
Money is so
little
small. How do you do heart
yeah,
surgery on it?
yeah,
Well, obviously you have to get a magnifying glass, which she created. She built
she
herself
made one.
to do the surgery that looks to be successful. And she's like, this will save everybody's life. I can now do surgery on people's babies. I could do things with other people, give them surgery and see what's going on inside the body. That's what this is for. This is for helping people.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, obviously they find out what's going on. They come to confiscate it, and they break into their house and ransack their home.
Hmm.
And it's kind of the point where we see her father and mother, like her mother no longer trusts her father because she's like, I only told you and our daughter. So now if Juliet didn't say anything, obviously it has to be you.
Hmm.
Now she's like, I can't trust my father. And this is the lasting moment she sees when she sees her father now. Like, you're the one that gave us up. You're the one that didn't want mom to have all this stuff. And we find out that's not necessarily what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. And that was it sucks, like as a father, because he is a doctor, so he's working as part of the system,
Mhm.
because he knows, he can't remove things, or the birth control, you
Mhm.
know. So like
Only for
he's
certain
in
people
it,
they
but he's
tell them
not
not to.
fully in it. Yeah, so he doesn't get the trust with it all, but after getting all the memories, and then him talking to Meadows, she tries to I think she tries to not overstep her, but I think again the cockiness. I think she tries to outsmart the person who she thinks is
Mhm.
pulling some of the strings in this episode, because I
She finds
believe
out. She
a
finds out that
judge.
Judge Meadows is not the one doing this stuff. She can't do
Yep.
anything because she's just a figurehead herself, which
Yeah.
I've had hints through at the entire episode, the last two episodes from there, that she wasn't doing anything. She was literally working for Sims, which is what I thought. That Sims was the big
Mhm.
bad. He was
Yes.
calling all the shots. That's what I thought was going on. So
Mhm.
when we figure out that Sims might be the big bad, along with Juliet figuring out all the family drama, finding out why her mother killed herself, and finding out about her father, and finding out honestly that her father did love her mother,
Mhm.
did love her, and that he never meant any of this stuff to happen. He also lost lost her brother, and he kind of changed and
Mhm.
went became an introvert,
Yeah.
dove into his work, and her mom became extrovert and kind of dove into
How
all
to
these
fix.
other questions,
Yep.
how to fix
Yeah.
these problems.
Yeah. And yeah, that's one that sucks. But also, it's around this time in the show that Juliet starts to realize they're kind of watching, and we got that throughout the show, because even as early as the first episode, I believe, Gloria is talking to Rashida Jones's character,
Mhm.
at was Allison, I believe,
Yes.
um, and she's turning on the water, turning on the fan, like making background noise, so they don't listen. We get it from George's ex-girlfriend.
Mhm.
We walk into her house and she has like pans and stuff covering all parts of the wall. Windows are being blocked out
Mirrors are
with
being
curtains.
blocked and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. She's like, what's going on?
It's like, so you start getting like, are they watching or are they crazy? But then she starts to realize, she goes, they're watching,
Mhm.
and she's starting to figure out how or why. I think she started doing it like the episode before with Gloria, right? I believe,
Yep.
with
When
the
she put the
vase.
face right in front of the
Yeah.
camera
Right in
behind the
front of the
mirror.
mirror. Yeah. Oh, and she got a note. That's right too. She wound up getting a note from I forgot from who, but it said something about blah 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 the mirror or something like that. Um, so she knows they're watching, and now she kind of like understands, like, it was never my dad. He didn't turn us in. They knew
They were
because
watching the
they're
entire
watching.
time.
you know, and I thought that was such a great part for them to like for him and his daughter, you know, to kind of reconnect. They're like, you were right. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't trust you all this time, and I hated you for all this time. You know, and while you were right. You know, you didn't betray me. You didn't betray my mom. You were the man you said you were. You know, so
I ran away from you, and it had nothing to do with you.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, it's you know, this is where it starts getting really, really intense for Juliet because like she's on the run from everyone now.
Yep.
You know, she's on the run from everyone. They start doing checkpoints. She tries to outsmart people. I believe in this episode, this is she.
She has the hard drive now, so now she has to try to figure out how to open the hard
Yeah.
drive. She tries to do it at home. She can't do it. She
Yeah.
tries to go all these other places. They can't do it. All IT people, they can't do it. So
Yeah. Yeah. She goes to a bunch of other people, but also Sims is looking for the hard drive and he knows she has it. So he's tearing up everything, you know. And then again, she tries to outsmart a person who she thinks, you know, she arrests Sims, you know, she tries to confront the judge and she's on the right track, but she's
it's
just
not
not
far enough.
not going far enough and not thinking it goes higher. You know what I mean? Like how high does it really go? You
So
know,
she, but in her haste to do all these things, she
yeah.
trusts Mayor Holland, Bernard Holland, right? And she goes in
Who
and
was helping
thinks,
her?
or she
He saved her a
thinks
couple times. He
she
saved her
thinks
a
he's
couple
doing it,
times.
and
Yeah.
she trusts him now. So like, hey, yeah, what do you need? This is what's going on. This is what's happening, and she's opening her heart to all this stuff. And she says something, and then he finally says, "So, but where's the hard drive?" And she's like, her Harry Potter moment. I've never said anything about a hard drive. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Oh, you never did say. I didn't say that, man. I had it going for a little bit, right? I messed up." And that's when you realize that Mayor Hollins has been behind all this. Sims
Yeah.
works for him.
Yeah.
He's not just the head of IT. He's the head of the silo. He runs everything, and he kind of told us that. You think you have power when you're down there at the generator? No, I have the power because I dictate where the power goes. He
Yeah.
told her that.
Yeah.
And we just kind of ignored it for it to be just someone who's arrogant, and he's not just arrogant, he's telling you the truth.
Yeah.
He's the one that has the power.
He's the dude. He's the dude. You know. But you also tell he's kind of like very like anxiety driven a little bit at times, you know, like he'll pour a drink and sometimes he'll drink it and then sometimes he'll pour it back, you know, because he knows he can't like shouldn't drink, you know. So like he's very worried. You see him a lot very like shaky and on edge, you know, of just what if I fail kind of thing, you know. So it's kind of like it's kind of scary because then like for me I'm thinking like why is he this scared? Like, does he report to somebody? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there somebody higher than him that we haven't even seen yet? You know, so
Yeah. I
because
don't know.
otherwise, like, why is he so worried? He's so worried. You know, I get he probably doesn't want to lose his
Because
power and stuff
everyone
like
want to
that.
lose,
But
everyone gets out of silo and they don't want to trust them, and you can't continue to run things the way it was we run. That's
yeah,
what I'm thinking.
yeah, yeah. So, but again, more questions after you answer some, you start asking more. You know, and that's why I loved about this show. You know,
Well,
even to the end,
this
towards the end of
episode
the
is the one where we finally she gets an answer and she opens up because she goes to Sim's house,
Mm,
right?
yeah, yeah. She
And
breaks free and yeah, goes to Sim's house.
yeah, so that's where we get into the getaway. And then
Mhm.
how did she break free? Free because Paul Billings had one of his attacks because he has some type of sickness, the syndrome,
The syndrome, I think
which
they just call it.
causes him to start to shake, whatever, a little bit much like Parkinson's or something to that effect. That's kind of
Mhm.
taking over for him, and she pushes him out the way. She jumps down. She's able to lay on the catwalk and get away from him. In her doing so, she's hiding. They're looking everywhere for her. She realized she needs someone on her level to use their computer to be able to see what's on this file, on this hard
Mhm.
drive. And she thinks, oh, obviously the perfect person is Sims. So he goes to Sims' house, threatens his wife, have her handcuffed to the kitchen, and a pipe in the kitchen while she tries to read all of it. And
Yeah.
she actually does succeed and finds out what's on there.
Yeah. Yeah. And even George wind up putting a file on there, I believe, too,
Yeah.
right?
It says
You
start here.
know, yeah, start here, nice and easy, and I guess that must be like the first time somebody recorded themselves,
Anything.
that anybody knows of, because anytime they saw him, they were like, whoa, like just so thrown back, like, holy crap, like that's somebody on screen. So, yeah.
And it's so funny because this is in the future, but it's a dystopian type of life. They don't even know that cameras exist. So that's why
Yeah.
you're able to hide in plain sight.
Yeah. Yeah, with little things. They all think they're sensors. That's what it was. They all think they're like air sensors, oxygen sensors, or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So then little do you know that they're cameras. Like just everywhere, everywhere. Yeah. So even that was like wild. Because she's like questioning the wife, because the wife was like, "Oh, I trust my husband has nothing to hide. Like we trust, blah blah blah." And she goes, "Oh yeah, well you didn't let the raiders come in, to help protect you." He's like, "Because they're bad." Even though she was one, we find out that Sims is like the head of these raider group, and she was part of it.
Yeah,
She
because
was, so they
they're
met
just
on the job.
they're raiders, but they're part of the security. They're the raiders part of the security. So
Yeah.
still part of his group. And when we see her and we see opening the file, and once she opens the file, it alerts everybody to where she is.
Mhm.
Sims finds out, he's running back home. He's telling everyone to get over there. And Sim's wife tells her basically, hey, you probably need to go. They're on their way because she's able to pick the lock while she's looking at the file.
Mhm.
And she lets her go, grab her stuff, and we run.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Juliet
And,
grabs,
and but it makes sense because he got mad.
how
She's
dare
like,
you?
I let her go. He's like, what? And she goes, listen, I'm gonna do what I can to not cause a scene in front of our son. Because she
Because
knows,
they start
that's what the
shooting.
Raiders do. Yeah. They're gonna start shooting and they were ready to do it. They were ready to, use that bulldozing, door breaker thing. And Sims is like, wait, hold on. And he just pushed open the door, which is hilarious. But that's what they do. They go in there and they make a mess and they make a scene and they freak everyone out. Somebody might die, and the wife knew. The wife knew what was gonna happen, and she's like, get out of here because I don't want my son to see any of this. And now it just changes what Sims, because he understands. He's like, I don't want him to see that, you know. So
His motivation has changed because now he believes she came and threatened his home, threatened his
yeah,
son. Now
yeah,
he's all about, I gotta catch her, I gotta kill her.
yeah.
And well, Juliet finds someone else. She runs to someone she saved the life back in episode 4. Says, find me your best hacker. Finds the hacker. And he opens up the file and they realize how deep this thing goes. And they see a
Mhm.
picture, someone's camera view of outside. And it's beautiful. It's green, lush grass and green trees and birds all around. And they said, we have to show everybody what's going on.
Mhm.
So they go to one of the hubs of IT to put it on all the screens. And they succeed. Everyone gets to see what's going on, but no one
So we
knows the
think,
hell it is.
yeah. I don't think they get to that far, right?
I think this
Because I
every group that they showed it to, that whole group from that hub was able to join and see it. So a lot of people
yeah,
got to see it.
yeah.
They just don't know what the
Because
hell it is.
because I know the people in that room saw it, and he's like, turn away, don't look at it, don't look at it, don't look at it. And it's like such a it reminded me of like what you do with kids, when something bad on TV is like, don't look at it, don't look at it. It's like they already saw it. You know what I mean? Like you can't have them forget it.
Yeah, but
Even if it was a glimpse.
it wasn't just his. It's everyone. It was a lot of people that saw that. Probably a
Yeah,
third of the silo because it's like it shows takes care of this area. So all those people were able to see it. So
yeah,
now things are starting to change a little bit. But Once again, Bernard gets it off the screen because he's just better than everybody else. All the hackers, he gets it off the screen, but they now know where she is. So they go looking for her. They find her in the garbage chute, and they warn her like, "Hey, you have to come out, or we're going to start dropping stuff down." And they start dropping stuff down, including like a giant safe.
Yeah, and she makes the decision to let go. I was like, damn, like let go before this thing lands
Kills her.
and crushes
Yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, because I think that leads us into.
Well,
Is there
while
anything
that's
else that happened in
happening,
that episode?
yeah, while that's happening, Billings,
Oh,
who's
Billy, that's right.
deputy,
Yes.
breaks into her apartment, and he's using his nose and sleuth brain to figure out where things are. You know, something wasn't right because you remember behind her, the medicine cabinet where he found the first relic. He opens hers and finds the brochure.
Yeah.
He opens it up. He's starting to cry, seeing outside, seeing how the world used to be, and he decides to destroy it. All of it except one page. They keeps for himself. Everything else he destroys and he leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that moment changed Billings.
Yeah, I think he sees because he was always chasing behind Juliet. You know, he's like, tell me the truth, and she wouldn't tell him the truth. One, she didn't trust him, and two, I think she didn't want to drag him in any more than he had to be. You know, but now I think he starts to realize all the stuff that she was hiding from him. You know, it's like it was this. You were hiding the truth, you know, from me. You know, the real truth, you know, the bigger truth of what's outside. So yeah. But now he's gonna be he's different.
Oh,
He's for
definitely
sure
different.
different.
You definitely see that he's
Yeah.
not the same guy that he was before, and things have changed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that,
But
that
yeah,
kind of
finally,
leads us into 10. Yeah.
yeah. Because they finally they well, they do catch her, right? In this
Yeah.
one.
They catch her at the end.
And not in 10. Do they catch her in 10 or do they catch her in
No,
9?
they catch
Yeah.
her at 9.
Yeah, they catch her at 9 finally, and she had to make a choice like come with us or we kill everyone down here. You know, because she's down back with the engineers and deep down. You know, and she goes with them and blah blah blah. And they make her
No, they promised her one other thing. If you come calmly, we will show you exactly what happened to George.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. That was big.
So they start
Big.
marching her up the silo.
Mm-hmm.
And then right in the middle of the silo, they stop and tell everyone leave. And they walk into this random janitor closet. Go in, close the door, go in and go to the secret passageway where they find out that there's at least 60 cameras, or not 600 cameras for everybody all over the place. They're able to see everything everywhere, hear everything everywhere. This is their, the command center for everything in the silo. And she used to see it, and they show her the video of George. And they captured him, and they're going to take him up. And he said, "You're going to torture me." And he gets away, and he says, "Look, I'm not going to let you torture me." He stands on the ledge of the silo. He looks up. He looks like he's going to blow her a kiss and say bye. And he jumped.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
all this. He did kill himself.
He did kill himself, but he did it in a way. He did it all on purpose. You know, I mean, he killed himself in front of a camera, so he knew a camera would catch him. You know, and I think he knew one day she would find the truth. She would find the actual video. You know what I mean? Because like you said, like he did whatever I forgot what he did, like blow a kiss or whatever it was, and before he jumped. So yeah, but that's how the episode ended. Where it's like that, and she's like, there you go. Like she did her job that she promised herself. I'm gonna find the truth with George.
If she only knew that that's all that happened, and she didn't need to go through all this stuff because he actually did. The old sheriff was bet right. Olston told her, killed himself, and guess what? He killed himself.
Yeah, she killed himself. Yeah. But it was all. Even like he tells her, he's like, "Oh, you followed my clues. You did everything I wanted you to do." So it's kind of like you doomed her in a sense, where like you made her go down this path that you knew eventually was going to get her probably killed,
Mhm.
but to him, the big question, him being one of the last flame keepers, or at least a mother or a kid of a flame keeper, was more important than anything else, was the big question,
I don't know because
yeah.
what Juliet learned in this episode 9 is that he loved her. He fell in
Yeah.
love. He loved her with all his heart. He's like, "You're the only thing that'll keep me from doing this. Hopefully, I'm sitting right next to you when you're watching this because I'm sharing my life with you. I'm sharing everything with you."
Hmm.
So, she finds out that no, it wasn't anyone else. It was only her that he loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now this takes us to episode 10. When we're finally
Yeah.
talking about
The, fi-
outside.
the final episode.
So tell me what you think about 10.
Before we get into like the finale, I it was it was a lot, because they wind up finding the hard drive, I believe, right, and then
They're destroying it right in front
they
of her.
destroyed it. Where am I on? Yeah, I'm on episode 10. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to remember what else is going on.
Nothing. I mean, she's pretty much
It was
her fate is sealed. She's fine. People are coming to come see her while she's in prison. They're taking the
yes,
measurements for all the stuff that she has.
yeah.
Um,
Her dad comes. Her dad comes, and she was about to slip up. She was about to
so why would
kind
you
of
ask to
tell
go
her
outside?
everything.
And she was like, didn't know
Yeah.
you can cook this well because part of the agreement is that she would not say that she didn't say it. There's no counsel, no meeting, no nothing. She's just going to take her punishment and go.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And they keep talking about because this whole thing started with the heat tape. Remember the
Hmm.
heat tape?
Yep.
And stuff like that. It was like, what's going on with the heat tape? Because back in freaking what, episode like 5 or whatever, her and George sneak into this relic thing, and she tries to steal this heat tape, that's supposed to be like good for repairs or whatever, and
Mm.
he steals a relic, so I think the heat tape plays a role
No, it definitely did
in
because
in this one.
Martha,
Yeah.
then she for the first time in 25 years, she left her house
Yeah. Yeah.
to go talk to the people in supply
Hmm.
to put in this cape that she had instead of the heat tape that they used because it
Yeah.
breathes. It doesn't
Hmm.
cut off all circulation, and they
It's
use
better.
the heat tape. They use
Hmm.
the heat tape to put the suit together. And
Hmm.
make stitch it together so she can't get out. So it becomes more of a vacuum. So you can't, nothing in, nothing out. She actually can breathe all the stuff out. At least that's the way I
Yeah.
saw it.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. I just thought it was like it actually created a seal.
No, I
Because
thought
like
they actually didn't. I think all the stuff they had before created a seal, and then, in my opinion, they were pumping in
oh
air.
yeah,
I mean, so
that makes sense.
you can't get out. So you're trapped in your own prison. That's why they die.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one didn't do that. So it let air come out, so all the stuff wasn't trapped in a vacuum, so you can
Mhm.
still breathe, and that's why she didn't die.
She didn't die. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought the same thing was like they were pumping in poison into the suit. So as soon as they started breathing the suit air, it was just a matter of time.
Yep. And they only have 5-6 steps because you're gonna fall out right with the mayor,
Yeah.
the sheriff,
Well,
and,
the
and
sheriff.
Allison all fell out. That's
Mhm.
exactly where it always happens. So they thought the same thing was going to happen, and but we kind of go through the whole Juliet's thing, her last rites and all this stuff. They read the last rites to her, and they escort her outside, and she gets out there. She sees this beautiful place. She's like, "Oh," and they say, "Are you gonna clean the camera so you can see?" And she goes up to the camera and she says, "No, I ain't cleaning up crap. F y'all."
Yeah, and she's the first person. I believe she's the first
Ever do
person
that?
ever to not clean the camera when she goes outside. And I think I figured out. Well, I didn't. I don't know. I'm sure you figured it out too. Well, she looked down. She goes, "Oh my god, it's all beautiful." And then she saw the birds,
Yeah.
And she goes, I seen those birds before. It's in the video.
It's
So
the
the video that we
same
see on the hard drive is the same exact thing that
they see.
they're seeing. So I think she realized that
But
it
she didn't.
wasn't.
When she did get poisoned immediately because of the heat tape,
Yeah.
she has still the sheriff's badge,
Badge.
and she's able to put that down and see the reflection off of it to know that that's the hologram.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's able to stand up and walk on and see beyond this hologram. And what did she see? Not the beautiful sky that we all thought that she was going to see, that everything outside was all hunky dory. But she sees that no, the original what they saw was right. Was right. It was
Yeah.
all gray and dead and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But also what they saw
On the other side of the hill.
on the other side of the hill was about another 10,000 silos.
Yeah, a bunch of other silos. Yeah.
Can you imagine? There's a field of silos everywhere, each holding 10,000 people, having the whole human race in silos, not just your 10,000, but their 10,000 and their 10,000 until it just goes on and on and on. So this experiment is going on everywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. It zooms out and you just see these little hills, it's everywhere, but you do see a city in the distance, but at least you
I don't
see
know if
buildings.
it's a remnant. It could be a remnant of a city. It could
Yeah.
be a lot of stuff. We're going to find out
Yeah.
on Friday. What the hell did she actually see?
Yeah. What's real?
Are there
what's
people
not?
out there living? Do you actually need this suit at all?
Yeah. Yeah. So we do a trailer reaction to season 2. I'll put it right above there. And yeah, season 2 looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, one thing we forgot to mention was as she goes out, right? As she's walking out there, Bernard was like, "Oh, she's only gonna get to the tree, and then she does collapse, but she gets up because she's got the different heat tape in there, and then that's when Bernard realizes, she goes, because he starts walking to the bodies and she starts like waving and stuff, and Bernard's like, she knows. And then Sim is like, she knows what? But by the time he turns around, Bernard's already running. He's taking off, and he's got the special key that says 18 on it. We don't know what it does. He put it in some lock or something, and then all of a sudden her visor, kind of clears out, and she sees the real world. She doesn't see this fake hologram anymore. It could be a coincidence or whatever he did, or she could have. I thought she might have gone past like a thing.
I think what happened was that when you put the key in there, it was he's in silo 18 and he's going to silo 19.
Oh,
very much like what's that TV show that we saw on Prime? Fallout. There's one place, one after another place, after another place, after another place, and there is a key to get to the next one. And the one who runs that silo could talk to the one who runs the other silo.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought with that. I thought that was just a coincidence that it cleared up because she passed the point where they can control what she's seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought too. But yeah, with the key, I wasn't sure, but that would make sense if it would be some kind of gateway, kind of thing.
And you can meet the other people from the silo and warn them that hey, she's coming.
Yeah, because the hard drive that they had, the that everyone was looking for was also hard drive number 18. So it could be their past before stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really curious. The trailer looks awesome. Brings in some more questions because she does get to another silo, and and she's greeted by some dude with 2 different color eyes. They're like, if you try coming in here again, I will kill you. Just flat up. So I'm kind of curious at what's going on. There's so much that could happen. Like there could be all ran differently. Different experiments.
They could be telling them the truth in one of them, tell them a lie in the next.
Yeah.
There could be people that live out there in the world there that look different. We don't know what's going to happen, and I'm excited for Friday to see where we're going to go.
Yeah. This was definitely. I'm upset I didn't watch it when it first dropped. I did hear good things about it, and it's on Apple, so Apple doesn't do well with marketing. you know, and I believe
Don't
we say
market
that
at
in the
all.
trailer too. They don't market at all. They just let the fans talk. You know, people who watch it tell other people to go watch it. And I mean, that's what we're doing with everyone here. Like, go watch this show. Go, you know, I mean, we left out a lot of details, you know, so
Details.
you know, there's still a lot of other things and stuff we kind of skipped over just for time. Um, you know, so definitely watch this show, get ready for season 2. Because season 2, I think is gonna be good. Rebecca Ferguson is amazing
She
in
is.
this. She's really good. She's a great actress, and I love seeing her having her own show that can really like showcase her acting skills. You know, plus everyone else in the show is great. You know, Common plays such a great bad guy.
He does.
He
He
plays
does.
such
He's
a
such a
great bad
good
guy.
good guy, but you believe him as a bad guy. Like I'm about to mollywop
Yeah,
you at any point in time, and this is what's going to
yeah,
happen. You know, I love seeing it, but
yeah.
you know, I cannot wait for us to. So if the show comes out Friday, maybe Saturdays will come out and we'll talk about what we just saw on the show, and
Yeah.
we'll discuss it with you guys instead of being recorded. Maybe we'll do it live. So I cannot wait to do that and discuss all these things. And yeah, but we'll talk as a family together, talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we'll be in our own silo talking about Silo.
Something about Silo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be one. Yeah, we'll try to do this. Episode is a little bit longer because we just crushed down like
Uh,
10
Higher.
hours and stuff within maybe a little bit over an hour. Um, so yeah, it is a lot. But it's well worth it. You know, definitely watch it before the season 2 comes out and then join us probably Saturdays, like Brian said. You know, we'll do live and we'll just silo, just be a silo episode. You know,
Yes.
we'll see how stuff like that goes. But yeah, yeah. Anything else you got for him? Or you
No,
want to
that's
close it out?
thank you guys for coming in and watching this with us and going through the review. Uh, see us on Saturdays. Hit the bell notification to know when we go live so you can be aware of it. We will let you guys know as we get closer what day, what time it will be. But most likely we're going to do it around 9:30, 10 o'clock. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button because we're trying to get on our way to 1,700 subscribers. So please help us get there. Join us for the live shows. We do them now Mondays and Thursday, and Saturday we'll be doing my Silo Saturdays. So
Ooh, I like that.
appreciate you guys, and we will see you again very soon.